shift from the fear of COVID to living with it, and that the normal that we know in the past may not be there anymore.
Spreading misinformation and disinformation can have just an equivalent impact as the virus itself.
When you take a vaccine, you're not doing it only for yourself, but for your loved ones, for the people closest to you, and for the rest of the country.
The diseases that these vaccines protect us against are more dangerous than the vaccine.
The treatment does not get rid of the virus, but it prevents the virus from weakening your immune system.
We know how to fight HIV. It's about political will. It's about, making choices.
I think LGBTQ plus is not just a community, it's a pocket of communities.
Love cannot be limited to male and female.
Kindness is really the currency of our time.
It's never a sign of a weakness of one's character. If we want to seek help, if we want to talk to someone.
Number 1, you can get cured. Number 2, it's not your fault that you have this disease.
Don't fall for these fad diets because it might be detrimental in the long run.
And it's because they're trying to deny that they have the disease. But once you accept it and you learn to live with it, it's really very easy to be living with diabetes.
Love your eyes and your eyes will love you back.
shift from the fear of COVID to living with it, and that the normal that we know in the past may not be there anymore.
Spreading misinformation and disinformation can have just an equivalent impact as the virus itself.
When you take a vaccine, you're not doing it only for yourself, but for your loved ones, for the people closest to you, and for the rest of the country.
The diseases that these vaccines protect us against are more dangerous than the vaccine.
The treatment does not get rid of the virus, but it prevents the virus from weakening your immune system.
We know how to fight HIV. It's about political will. It's about, making choices.
I think LGBTQ plus is not just a community, it's a pocket of communities.
Love cannot be limited to male and female.
Kindness is really the currency of our time.
It's never a sign of a weakness of one's character. If we want to seek help, if we want to talk to someone.
Number 1, you can get cured. Number 2, it's not your fault that you have this disease.
Don't fall for these fad diets because it might be detrimental in the long run.
And it's because they're trying to deny that they have the disease. But once you accept it and you learn to live with it, it's really very easy to be living with diabetes.
Love your eyes and your eyes will love you back.
Hello everyone! Magandang tanghali po. Isa na namang chikahan dito sa aming Kumusta Doc? So, kasama ko today si Bianchi at si Rain. Hello!
Hello,
Hi!
magandang tanghali.
Magandang tanghali. Hi, Rain. Ayan. Ayan. Kumusta naman kayo?
Hello. Okay naman. Excited for another Kumu Live.
Sabay pa tayo. Excited, yes.
Yes,
For
yes.
Wednesday,
Itong
diba?
Kumu na to, no? Yes. Since kasi, diba, Mother's Day this coming Sunday. So, itong topic natin for today, which is related to National Safe Motherhood Day. So, originally, ang Safe Motherhood Day ay sa April 11. Pero since malapit na ang Mother's Day, pag-usapan na natin yan. Usapang ina tayo ngayon, di ba?
Yes, usapang ina.
Kahit wala pa akong anak.
Oo nga, fur baby pa lang. Fur babies pa
Yes,
lang.
yes. So, mga fur parents muna tayo ngayon, di ba? At syempre, kasama natin sa chikahan ngayong tanghali ang ating paboritong si Doc V. Doc V, magandang tanghali po.
Hi, Doc V.
Magandang tanghali. It's so good to see very fresh faces. Sir Justin, Miss Rain, and of course, Miss Bianchi. It's so good to see you. And sa ating mga manonood, nako, I hope masarap po ang ating tanghalian. And of course, this is a special shout out to all the mothers out there. No, lahat po tayo dito pare-pareho ng mga fur parents, no? But we would like to give this special day for our mothers. Especially that we are celebrating Mother's Day on Sunday. Yes, Mother's Day na po on Sunday.
Sakto. Yes, May 8, Doc. We're so happy to see you again. Welcome back, Doc. You're back in Manila na po?
Yes, I am back in Manila. Wala na po tayong sunrise sa aking background. But, gaya po ng warmth ng Pilipinas, ganun din po yung init ng pagtanggap po ng ating mga Pilipino dito po sa ating show. And of course, you'd like to thank Hello Doctor for this, no? Isa na namang masayang talakayan about the health of our mothers, the one that holds a very special place that no one can ever replace. So shout out, hi Mama Lucille. Happy Mother's Day in advance. I'll be home soon.
Hi
Hello
Ma.
po.
Naghay na sa
Hi,
lahat ng
Mommy.
mga
Happy
mothers.
Mother's Day.
Mami Lucille din ng lahat. Mami ng lahat.
Ayun, so
Yes.
Doc, we wanna start na. Let's jump right in kasi magandang discussion po ito. And for sure, kulang na naman ng 1 hour, no? So,
Yes.
siguro let's cover, siguro mga broad muna na questions. Like, ano po ba yung mga common conditions that affect Filipino moms? Ano po yung dapat i-prevent?
Pag moms talaga, no, we have to actually be very mindful of the the age, no, ng range ng mga moms natin. Usually, typically, no, our moms, yung your productive age ng ating mga kababaihan, no, women in general, no, would reach until say 35, no. But if, for example, pag 35 years old na, we would consider that medyo papunta ng high risk, no, na pregnancy. But you know, there are teenage moms also that we have to give importance to. Kailangan po nating pagtuunan ng pansin yung teenage pregnancy po. Actually, later on, si Doc Dex, he'll explain that and how Popcom has been trying or has been increasing their efforts to solve the challenge of increasingly rising numbers of teenage moms, no? But, you know, pag pinag-uusapan ang motherhood, no, of course, hindi mawawala dyan ang reproductive health, no? Hindi mawawala dyan ang mga non-communicable diseases, no? Kasi ang mga nanay natin, sobrang masisipag, no? Na lahat, kahit pagod na sila, no? Kahit yung katawan nila gusto ng magpahinga, no? Their will and their love for us as mothers will continue to endure. That's why, you know, our mothers would usually, no, be physically vulnerable. Mataas po yung risk nila for non-communicable diseases, most especially po kasi sa mga po natin, sa mga stay-at-home moms po natin, no, usually, especially now that we have been 2 years in the 2 years in the running na po tayong nasa bahay, no? So physical activity might be very limited for our moms also. Although we can say din kasi mga moms natin mahilig ting-ting sa bahay yan, no? But non-communicable diseases such as diabetes, non-communicable diseases such as hypertension, alta presyon po ay common sa ating mga moms, especially kapag tayo ay nagiging pasaway, no? But, you know, kidding aside, most of our moms are vulnerable actually now to non-communicable diseases such as cardiac diseases, no? Yung tinatawag nating mga komplikasyon, no? Dulot ng hypertension, ng diabetes, no? They can actually also have, no? Especially moms who are reaching postmenopausal na age, no? They're more vulnerable to degenerative musculoskeletal diseases, no, such as your osteoarthritis, no? Ibig sabihin po no, kasi yung mga moms natin, no, sa sobrang pag-aalaga nila sa atin, no, yung cushion, yung nagpo-protect doon sa joints natin, no, para hindi siya kumaskas, would actually be worn down, no? Kaya minsan, kunyari napapansin nyo na pag yung mga nanay natin biglang tumayo from a sitting position, no, bigla nilang mararamdaman na, ay, bakit masakit yung tuhod ko, no? And that's because of that disease, no? Lahat po tayo, especially yung mga kababaihan, no, when we reach that certain age, we are more prone to having osteoarthritis. No? And yun yung mga isa sa mga binabantayan natin. So, non-communicable diseases, one, no? Kailangan po nating bantayan yan sa mga nanay natin. No? Number two would be degenerative diseases, no? Such as yung osteoarthritis, no? Musculoskeletal disease. And of course, when we want to talk about teenage moms, teenage pregnancy, nandyan po si Commissioner Dex Galban. Ako na po ang nag-introduce sa kanya.
Welcome po, Doc Dex, Pure Energy. Dr. Pure Energy, thank you po.
Yeah, nakakamiss no sila Miss Bianchi, sila Sir Justin, tsaka si Miss Rain, Doc Dex. Hopefully, we can meet them personally soon.
Yes, soon.
Yeah. And of course, kasama natin dyan si Miss Kai na namimiss na namin.
Yeah, she's watching. Hello, Kai. Tapos live na yung natin, kumustahan natin.
Yes,
live,
oo. Nagpunta tayo sa office.
Sa isang place.
Probably sa coffee shop somewhere. But Doc Dex?
Doc Dex, welcome.
Hi, it's a pleasure. It's always wonderful to see the wonderful faces of the Hello Doctor Philippines family. Thank you for having us again as part of the program. At although last week sobrang lamig sa Singapore, sa Switzerland, iba pa rin ang init ng pagtanggap dito sa atin sa Pilipinas, of course, through the power of Hello Doctor. So, thank you and happy to be back. And already, quick shout out, advanced happy Mother's Day to my mom. Very, very busy. Born to be a strong woman. Love you, ma. See you this weekend.
See you this weekend. Yes, excited tayo lahat to see our moms this weekend. Doc, actually, we started off identifying kung ano yung mga common conditions affecting Filipino moms. So, naisip ko lang po baka meron tayong viewers na moms-to-be, magiging moms pa lang. And curious po sila kung ano po yung mga risks ng panganganak at paano po ito maiiwasan. Siyempre, may konting anxiety para lang po ma-reassure sila ano po ba yung dapat bantay. Go ahead, Doc Dex.
Pagdating sa risks sa panganganak, nako, sabi nga nila, di ba, kasabihan na sa Pilipino na kapag ang babae ay nagdadalang tao, yung isa niyang paa ay nasa hukay. Kasi, kumbaga, dalawang tao, yung kanyang inaalagaan, yung sarili niya, tsaka yung kanyang anak. Plus, at the same time, it exposes the body to so many changes. So, your hormones are all over the place. A lot of developments are happening within your body. There is someone that is growing within you through the food that you eat, through the way that your body adopts these changes and somehow meshes with how you're able to take care of yourself, even with these changes happening. All of those will have an impact kung paano ba yung kondisyon ng nanay pag siya ay nagdadalang tao. And of course, pagdating sa risk niyan would be the range of diseases that you can possibly get during pregnancy, right? And this is why it is very, very, very important for all of our mothers to be or yung mga plano pong maging nanay in the near future to already know what are the requisites when it comes to your prenatal checkups. Kasi meron po tayo mga timestamps kung saan we need to hopefully be able to see our health provider, our OBGYN, or probably our primary healthcare provider at the very least, no? So that we'll be guided throughout the process. Because may mga mandatory po tayo mga vaccinations, meron po tayo, not mandatory, but highly encouraged vaccinations to help protect the mothers. And at the same time, the key baseline assessment figures, meaning yung mga laboratory tests natin na kailangan gawin for every trimester, kailangan po natin makita yun para ma-establish natin na baka nag-develop si mommy ng condition during the entire stretch of the pregnancy. Is it going to be gestational hypertension, gestational diabetes? Kasi may chances yan na magkaroon ng complications if hindi natin na-monitor. Pwede magkaroon ng pre-eclampsia or eclampsia, which can very much put the mom and the baby at risk, and so many others, from your limited exposure to pets, to the type of food that you eat, to the type of medications that you're not allowed to take in. Meron tayong mga classifications ng gamot, no, na ma-identify lang kung ano yung pwede for a mom, and sobrang daming kailangan i-consider kapag nagdadalang tao. That's why it would be good to have a health provider by your side, and for you to learn more about it by visiting hellodoctor.com.ph.
Yes, that's correct, Doc. Doc V mentioned also yung rise po ng teenage pregnancy locally. Maybe you can add to that, Doc. Meron po bang added risk? We know na risky talaga siya. Pero ano po specifically if you get pregnant and give birth as a teenager?
Okay. So, ako po ay magpapalit ng hat. Ako po yung
Top-tom
yung
hat.
magulang ngayon. Ako yung magulang ngayon na
Opo.
nagsasabi, alam mo, ikaw bata ka. Hindi, didiscuss ko po ngayon kung ano po ba yung impact ng teenage pregnancy. First, let's do it physiologically. Ano nangyayari ba sa katawan? At bakit ba din discourage natin to? Dahil lang ba, sabi ni nanay, sabi ni tatay, sabi ni doc, sabi ni teacher, bawal, basta bawal. Ano nga ba talaga yung dahilan kung bakit? So let's look at the physical. So first, in terms of human development, ang consideration natin dito, kung handa na ba yung katawan mo to carry and nurture another human being. Because remember, nagde-develop pa yung katawan mo, especially when you are transitioning from being a child to being an adolescent to being a fully mature individual. Even your reproductive organs, your basic overall physiological functions and physical capacity, nako, nagde-develop pa yan. Kumbaga, even yourself, hinuhulma ka pa ng mundo. So your capacity possibly to take on the weight, not necessarily literal weight, well, that's part of it, but the burden, the stresses of being a mother, the nutritional needs, the lack of sleep, among others, all of these considerations have to be brought in when you are in that critical period of being an adolescent. So really, it's more about taking care of yourself also to ensure that you get pregnant early. Kasi ang laki ng dagok nun sa physical condition mo. Kasi you're going to take care of a child when you yourself are technically still a child. Diba? That's the challenge. That's the challenge there. So physiologically, physically, that is the main concern. Pero let's also look at it from an economic point of view, di ba? Kasi the truth of the matter is, and this is my Popcom Ned hat coming in, we are losing roughly 33 billion pesos annually in lifetime annual earnings because of teen pregnancy. Bakit? Kasi kapag ang babae maagang nagbuntis, mataas yung posibilidad, mataas yung likelihood na hindi na siya makakabalik ng school. And it means that it's more likely that they are unable to finish their education, unable to join the workforce, therefore unable to provide more input and credence to society. Ibig sabihin nun, makikita actually ito dun sa income earning capacity ng mga na maagang nagbuntis. Na ang earning capacity would be a difference of over 200 or 300 pesos yung diferensya. So, dun pa lang halatang-halata na ang laki ng nawawala not only on a personal level for a young woman na maagang nagbuntis versus one na hindi maagang nakapagbuntis and nakatapos ng school and naka-join ng ating workforce. Of course, hindi natin nila lahat. Pero based on data and based on statistics, yun yung trends natin. So this is more about information lang so that you will be guided in terms of making the right decision.
Thanks, Doc Dex. So, bigger picture talaga, it affects a lot of things, no? Not just the health, diba? But our quality of life, the future. So, it's really important to raise awareness. I have another question for Doc V naman. For postpartum care, Doc, ano mga tips, like mga practical tips for them to stay healthy pag mga kakapanganak pa lang naman?
Alright, no? Naalala ko yan, no? Kasi I've had siblings, younger siblings, na medyo malapit yung, malayo yung age gap, no? So, before we get into the more medical information that we need to observe, no? Doon sa postpartum care or ano ba ang dapat nating gawin after tayo manganak, no? And disclaimer po, sinasabi ko po ito as a doctor, not as someone who had gone through it, no? Yeah, mga for parents lang po kami dito, no? But anyway, one of the things that naalala ko with my mom no before was that naliligo actually siya sa guava, if I remember, no?
Guava, Doc.
Yes, oo. But these are mga ano no mga ginagawa ng mga natin, mga parents natin before, and what they do usually is they yung sabi ng mama ko pa, bawal siyang maulanan, bawal siyang ma-stress, no, because of the recovery part of after giving birth, no. But tingnan natin, no, kung ano yung dapat gawin, no, ng ating mga moms, no, ng ating mga new moms, no, after they actually give birth. No, it's important for us to be able to keep ourselves and to maintain hygiene, no? Meron akong narinig din, no? Siguro from the elderly also, na bawal maligo, no? It's part of, and actually naaral po namin yan sa medical anthropology, no? May mga ganyan na mga beliefs, no? But it's actually very important for us to be able to maintain cleanliness, hygiene po, because one of the things, no, that we have to observe, no, is we have to prevent infection, no, kasi alam natin na there is a part of our body that has undergone, no, trauma, no, because of childbirth. Actually, childbirth is a very natural process, but then again, minsan po there will be wounds that we need to tend to, no? So, pwede po yung if ever we don't observe proper hygiene, pwede po tayong magka-infection, no? And mauwi po sa sepsis na tinatawag, no? That's one of the things that we have to look out for, no? Number 2, no? Especially dun sa mga mothers natin na medyo naging mataas yung sugar, no? And nagkaroon ng gestational diabetes. Actually, gestational diabetes is one of the highlights, no? One of the important things that we have to look at dun sa mga mommies natin. That's why important po yung pag-check ng sugar natin, no? Especially during the trimesters, no? May mga ano po yan, may schedule po yan kung kailan po tayo mag-OGTT. Sa mga moms po natin na naka-experience nun, yun po yung iniinom na orange, no? Tapos kukunin po yung blood sugar natin. Important po yun. Because after that, we have to check again. I-check po ulit natin. After po tayo manganak, I think 12 weeks na, Doc Dex, kung yung sugar po natin ay bumaba, kung patuloy na tumaas yung sugar natin, no? So, for our moms, no, important po na magpa-check ng sugar, no? And especially for the new moms, no? And actually, it's also important for us to be able to maintain still a very healthy diet while we're as new moms, no? Because hindi lamang po yung well-being natin yung naapektuhan, our ability, no? Our capability to produce nutrition, nourishment for our child, no, for our baby, would actually rely also on our diet, no? So one of the things that we have to do, no, to be able to maintain that, no, is to be able to have a good diet. So may gulay pa rin po tayo, merong protein, and of course, there are wonderful articles in hellodoctor.com.ph, hindi lamang po tungkol sa care, but about experiences din po ng mga moms natin after birth, no? Especially to the new moms, no? Important din po for us to consider, no? Hindi lamang po physical health na apektuhan pag nagka-baby po tayo, no? We can actually be at risk for postpartum depression, no? May mga ganun po, no? May mga celebrities actually who came out, no? Who are advocating, no, for postpartum depression and caring for moms who are experiencing postpartum depression. No? It's a condition po that we have to be able to look out for, especially dun sa mga new moms natin. No? And of course, no, I think may shinare yung Hello Doctor about self-care na given to us or brought to us by our very lovely, our favorite, Doc John Refarial.
Yes,
no?
in the comments po, you can click. Yes.
Yes, oo. About self-care also for our moms. Hindi lamang for new moms, but also for our moms in general. Kasi we want to be able to take care of our moms. Kasi yung pagiging nanay po, sabi ng mama ko po, never hindi ka nagkakaroon ng break, never kang nagkakaroon ng leave, 24/7 kang on the go, wala kang overtime, wala kang compensation, but that's why we have to give back to our moms by taking care or by ensuring that they are of optimum health, no? And one way to do that is by informing them of how do we care for them as well. Marami pong articles ang hellodoctor.com.ph. And probably later sa mga gusto maging moms, no? Those who are expecting, those who are desirous of becoming moms, maybe we can talk about that. Ano po yung mga preparations na pwede nating gawin. But I would love to hear from the questions or from the insights ng mga manonood natin. No?
Yes, please feel free na mag-comment po kayo kung ano po yung mga katanungan nyo. Andito po si Doc V and Doc Dex para sagutin po lahat yan. Right now, I want to hand it over to Rain, our resident nurse and writer. Napakagaling na Rain, who has some questions prepared for our doctors.
Yes, ayan. So, kanina po, thank you. Kanina nabanggit, di ba, maraming risk yung pagiging pregnant. And even after mong manganak, may mga risk ka pa. And then, nabanggit din na may teenage pregnancy. So, medyo overwhelming sa side nung mom-to-be since bata pa siya. Wala pa siyang masyadong knowledge about becoming a mother. So, for me po, yung practical side. So, yung mga new mommies, first-time moms, especially mga teenage moms, meron po bang ino-offer na mga free services yung government with regards to safe motherhood? So, para aware sila na, okay, baka wala pa silang pera for this kind of procedure or wala pa silang pera para sa gantong mga gamot. Baka may ino-offer yung government natin, let's say yung healthcare centers. Baka meron silang mga ino-offer. We want the moms to be aware of it para ma-maximize yung binibigay ng government. So itatanong ko lang po kay Lado kung ano yung mga provided ng government for free para sa ating mga moms.
Kasi, okay, I think I was on mute. So, very helpful and timely question yan. Kasi this is one of the things that people need to know, that there are a lot of government services that are readily available to you. Of course, kung gusto mo ng libreng check-up for your maternal and child care, you can go to any public hospital, diba? Pero, of course, the challenge there would be the waiting time. Of course, mahaba yung pila. Plus, of course, the considerations of the location. Hopefully, you have a close public hospital near you. Pero in terms of the actual services, no, for the mothers, you are actually able to take part of the weekly maternal and child care day that happens every week. And that would usually be every Wednesday. Nakabundle po yan with the bakuna day, yung child check-up day. Usually sa umaga yan ng Wednesday, you can visit your local health center. Nandiyan pa ang ating mga BHW na tumakalinga sa atin, kasama ang ating mga midwife, ating mga nurses, mga doktor po sa ating mga health center, or if not, within your municipal health office also. Yeah. And then, of course, since we're talking about pregnancy, reproductive health, and sexual health, open po ang Family Wellness Clinic ng Commission on Population and Development or POPCOM sa Mandaluyong City. So you can just go there and we will be able to provide you with your SHRH services free of charge. Plus, kasama na din po dyan yung aming mga hotlines that we will be sharing with hellodoctor.com.ph para mas marami po makaalam. And that will also be inclusive of your sexual health and reproductive health education, testing, among others. So we want to make it as accessible as possible. Kaya po, wag po mahihiyang magtanong. Your LGUs and your national government are there to provide you with assistance. At kung meron pa po kayong kailangan, please do let us know. And if you're a young person na kayo ay confused regarding your sexual health and reproductive health, kahit hindi pa kayo mommy or may plan na kayo maging mommy probably sometime in the future, you can check out our teen centers para maturuan namin kayo kung ano yung mga dapat i-consider. We won't definitely tell you what to do, but we will help you decide and help you make the right choices. So we'll let you know about the impacts of your decisions. Sa ating mga teen centers, this is done in collaboration with Popcom and NEDA, plus, of course, our Sangguniang Kabataan and the different LGUs all over the Philippines. So, anything to add, Doc Via?
Naalala ko tuloy na sabi ni Miss Bianchi, one of the things that she did before when she worked with the government was to have Bakuna Wednesday. So, one of the things na naalala ko, especially if you have a pediatric patient, di ba, Miss Bianchi, kung may pedia kang, and I think si Miss Rain also was able to experience this, na pag may pasyente ka na bata, pati yung mama pasyente na din, no?
Kakalmahin mo rin sila, Doc.
Oo, kasi sometimes the mom gets worried, no? Especially pag nabakunatan yung kid, yung pag umiiyak yung kid, hindi siya tumatahan, no? Especially after the bakuna was administered, the mom gets worried, no? So I think that's one of the things also na ginagawa, no, nila ng mga nurses natin, no, tulad ni Miss Bianchi, Miss Rain, regarding, informing our mothers what they have to know about the condition of their children, including yung mga vaccines po. So, marami pong mga programa yung ating gobyerno sa ating mga local government units, sa ating mga barangay sa health centers about tips, for new mothers, ano po ba yung mga vaccination na kailangan nila. After birth po, ano po yung kailangan nilang obserbahan, no? So, marami po. Go visit po your local health centers, and Alaga Health, no, will soon be partnering with a local health center near you. So, abangan po natin yon.
Wow,
And of course,
we
will also have initiatives to focus on maternal health during our checkups.
Abangan natin yan, no? Go ahead, Ray. Do you have another question?
Nabanggit kasi nila, Doc, yung bakuna. Actually, natuwa din ako nung nabanggit yung bakuna Wednesday. So, regarding bakuna po, Doc, medyo siseg lang, medyo lilihis lang ng konti. Since nasa time pa rin tayo ng pandemic, and alam naman natin na in-encourage din yung mga pregnant moms to get vaccinated against COVID-19. So, ang question ko lang po is, how do we talk to mothers, pregnant moms na hesitant magpabakuna? Kasi ako, I personally know someone na pregnant and ayaw niyang magpa-vaccine. Although tiwala siya dun sa vaccine. So, gusto niya, but after niya ng mga anak. So, natatakot kasi siya na baka yung baby maapektuhan. So, ang reasoning niya would be, yes, magpapa-vaccine ako, pero intayin ko nang makapanganak ako. So, will that be okay? Okay lang ba yun? Or dapat ba talaga we talk to them para magpabakuna na sila since pwede naman talaga?
Okay, very relevant and timely question. Confirm ko lang, is this vaccination for COVID or all vaccines in general?
For COVID po, Doc. Medyo takot talaga na magpabakuna since pregnant. So, ang gusto niya is manganganak muna siya before siyang magpa-vaccine. So, medyo matagal pa yon kasi newly pregnant siya eh. So, medyo 1 month, 2 months. Parang ganun pa lang po.
Okay. So, actually, the truth of the matter is, meron ng mga early reports and evidences that those mothers that have received the vaccine, their kids ended up having antibodies already for COVID-19. So that would be a wonderful development for that, diba? And one of the top considerations also here kasi, depending of course on the studies conducted by that particular brand that gives the COVID vaccine, these would not be made available to you and would not be administered to you if it is not considered as cleared for your demographic. Kaya nga kung napapansin nyo, yung pag-roll out ng bakuna natin, inuna muna yung mga matatanda, and then yung kasama yung mga health workers, then may mga age limitations pa yan. Dati, pag beyond a particular age, hindi ka na pwedeng bakunahan. So, as the vaccine continues to become refined and as more studies are conducted, nakita nyo eventually meron ng authorization for vaccination of children. So, ganun yun talaga kasi we take into account kung ano yung level of safety. Remember, in vaccine development, before you find out whether it is effective, the first thing that you need to determine, the first thing that people always try to find out is it safe? Right? So, bago pa matanong kung epektibo ba yan, gumagana ba yan, etc., tanong, is it safe? So, in terms of whether or not yung vaccine, any vaccine, I won't even just focus on COVID-19, whether or not that vaccine is good for pregnant women or not, if it is allowed, or sorry, I think the term is not allowed, but supported by evidence that it is all right to administer it to pregnant women, then go ahead. I think that would be sufficient enough cause for you to trust that science has done its job, right? But of course, this is not forcing anyone to take their vaccine, but highly encouraging you, kasi you can even check all of the stories already of some of their kids, especially of those vaccinated mothers, having the defenses already for COVID-19. And who wouldn't want their kid to be extra protected in a time na napakadali pong mahawa and with new variants coming in left and right? Nako, nakaabante pa si baby tuloy tungkol sa kanyang protection.
Ayan. Thank you po, Doc. I think I will talk to her pa. Kasi medyo ayaw niya talaga. Very specific po siya sa COVID-19 vaccine. Other vaccines po wala siyang problema. Talagang dun sa COVID-19 lang. So, ang reasoning niya talaga is, pero nga naman, tama si Doc, kasi kung magkaka-COVID ka, if ever, kawawa rin yung baby mo since pregnant ka pa. So, yun po. Thank you, Doc Dex, Doc Via. I think Justin has some questions din.
Yes. Siguro napag-usapan naman natin na yung mga nanay, mga pregnant mommies, lalo na yung mga bagong panganak. Napag-usapan natin yung postpartum self-care, ganyan. Siguro, Doc, tatanong ko lang, kasi may naririnig ko yan sa mga tita-tita, ganyan, mga lolo't lola, di ba, na parang nabibinat daw yung mga bagong panganak kapag may masyadong heavy yung ginagawa after mga anak. Totoo po ba na nabibinat sila? Tsaka paano at bakit nangyayari ito?
Alright, so I think I'll take that, no, Doc Dex. One of the reasons why yung tinatawag nating binat, no, especially if yung moms natin, no, yung mga nanay nakakapanganak lang, no, minsan nagkakasakit, no, after they give birth. Our bodies are undergoing change, no, especially after birth, no, and one of the things that we have to do, no, is to make our body recover, no, kasi when mom gets pregnant, no, may mga changes that our body undergoes, especially with the hormones, no, especially with how our immunity is as well, no. Kasi nga, no, pregnancy will have physiologic changes sa ating katawan, no, especially sa katawan ng mga nanay, no. And of course, no, when we give birth, no, those changes, no, will also be our bodies also be transitioning again, no, going back to a state na hindi na tayo pregnant, no. So if it is constantly experiencing stress, no, pwedeng bumaba yung immunity natin. Remember, nagre-recover pa yung katawan natin, no, from childbirth. So if we expose our bodies, no, especially sa mga kakapanganak lang nanay, to stress, no, nagtrabaho agad, no, baka po no magkaroon ng masamang epekto sa katawan natin, especially in terms of us no being able to recover. No, kasi yung katawan natin nire-repair niya pa no yung mga derangements na, especially if for example wound healing no, especially after childbirth no, is important no? And that's why we have to always ensure na our moms are protected no, and this goes beyond health no, this also goes as far as occupation safety is concerned, kaya nga tayo may mga maternal leaves no, kaya nga tayo merong time for our moms to recover no, because when after we give birth no, our bodies will actually undergo changes, and if we don't allow ourselves to heal and recover completely, baka tayo ay magkaroon ng complications, magkaroon ng unexpected na sakit no after giving birth no. So it's important for us to really take care of our moms who just gave birth. Doc Dex, do you wanna add?
Yeah.
May alam ka pa after birth?
Yeah. Although here's the thing, no. I also do not want the mothers to have this notion na dapat hindi sila gumalaw, na they just stay in bed all day. That is actually the completely opposite wrong notion naman, na of course one side is saying na nako dapat nagpapahinga ka lang, huwag kang lalabas ng kama, dapat nakahiga ka lang buong maghapon. No, that's not the case, no, kasi early mobility, getting yourself up and about as you can tolerate would actually be very helpful to your recovery. It allows your body to not weaken itself. It will allow your muscles to remain strong, and then it will also allow you to somehow get back into the groove. Kasi early mobility will also help with your own self-worth and self perception, and also contribute in part in avoiding postpartum depression and really get you back in the game after giving birth, no? Kasi there really is this tendency na after pregnancy, the approach, or at least how they would see themselves, would be like, okay, so now all of the attention ng asawa ko, ng mga kapatid ko, ng magulang ko, everyone that used to focus on me as the pregnant individual now shifts to the child. So that can be a trigger for mothers, particularly, especially if you already have a history of mental health concerns in the past. Pwedeng mas ma-aggravate pa yon. So we actually encourage a lot of self-care, and for everyone to be made aware of ways that you can cope better and understand your role as a mother and keeping yourself healthy and well, not only mentally but also physically, kasi kailangan mag-mesh yung dalawa.
Yes. Thank you, Doc Dex, Doc V. Talagang kailangan nating alagaan yung mga nanay natin. Kasi ang hirap nung pinagdaanan nila. Imagine 9 months silang nag-iingat, nagpapalakas para kay baby. Tapos, pagkatapos pa nun, di ba, nag-heal pa sila pagkatapos sila manganak. Tapos, ayun, eventually, aalagaan na nila yung mga babies nila. So, napag-usapan natin yung kalusugan ng mga nanay natin. Paano naman sa ating mga babies, Doc Dex? Siguro ang question ko, kasi ngayon, di ba, medyo open na ulit tayo, alert level 1 na halos lahat, yung iba nag-alert level 0, so madami na ulit na malabas, madami na nag-mall. May times na nakakita ako na kasama ng buong family yung baby, or kahit toddlers, ganyan. Tapos, yung iba din kasi, hindi naman, syempre, paano mabibigyan ng mask yung baby, di ba? So parang, paano natin mapoprotektahan yung mga baby natin para against COVID, di ba? Kasi syempre, ang tagal din namang nasa loob ng bahay ng nating lahat at excited lumabas, di ba? Lalo't nag-ease na ulit yung restriction. So, paano natin sila mapoprotektahan ngayon, Doc?
Okay, so again, we'll look into how to better take care of children in a time of COVID. So, of course, kapag hindi kailangan lumabas, wag lalabas. Right? Actually, yun yung mga major contentions nung pag-reopen ng schools. It's a good thing now that quite a lot of young ones have already been vaccinated. In terms of taking care of the kid per se, especially kapag ang bata ay kapapanganak, we do not recommend that they leave the house frequently unless absolutely required or going for a health checkup. Why? Because of course, they're very vulnerable. Ang mga bagong panganak po ay sobrang mas vulnerable to any and all diseases. That's why one of the most sensitive indicators of how healthy a country is or how well ang pang-aalaga ng gobyerno sa isang bansa ay yung tinatawag natin na infant mortality index. Yung tignan natin how well people are able to protect their most vulnerable. And typically, dalawa yan, the elderly and the young ones, the infants, the recently born ones, the newborns. So, I highly suggest that kung kapapanganak, keep them at home and try to keep them away from anyone na pwedeng merong chance na magkaroon ng COVID or any other condition na communicable sa kanila. But at the same time, no, kung talagang hindi may iwasan, ensure that they have the proper personal protective equipment, whether it is in the form of an adjunct mask or probably yung mga blankets and then properly na napapalitan, naki-cleanse yung mga ginagamit nila, so to also prevent any form of transmission. Yeah. So anything to add to that, Doc V?
I think that it's important for us to be able to secure safety first, no? Especially sa mga anak natin. Kasi sabi nga ni Doc Dex, they're more vulnerable in with diseases, no? Kasi hindi pa nga buo yung kanilang immunity, no? One of the things, no, na tinatanong palagi is, pwede na bang mag-mask yung anak ko, no? Kailan po ba siya dapat mag-wear ng mask, no? For me, according to WHO actually, no, yung recommendation nila, no, children 5 years and under, no, do not need to wear mask, no, kasi they might not be able to properly wear mask without help or supervision. So, it doesn't mean na, okay, 5 years old yung anak ko, sige, lalabas kami, recommended naman ng WHO na hindi mag-mask. So, hindi ko siya papasuotin ng mask. Hindi po 'yun yung ibig sabihin nun. Ibig sabihin nun, hindi po nila ma-manage on their own to wear the mask effectively, no? So, sa mga anak po natin na 5 years and below, habang nandyan pa po yung COVID sa labas, and mas vulnerable po sila, wag na po natin silang ilabas if hindi naman po important, no? Especially sa areas, no, na COVID is spreading, no, 6 to 11 years old, dapat well-fitted yung mask nila, no? But again, safety first, no? Hindi ibig sabihin na recommended ng WHO na wag mag-mask yung 5 and below ay hindi na po sila hindi niya na po sila po protektahan, no? It's always important for us to secure our children first before we expose them to a potential threat, no? And it's important for us to also be informed regarding ano po yung mga mechanisms, no, na to be able to protect our child, especially regarding vaccines, ano ba yung mga protocols, social distancing, mask wearing for children, no, especially for our moms. Maybe you can visit hellodoctor.com.ph again for their articles, no? Kasi it's important as mommies, no, na mawala po yung anxiety natin, mawala yung kaba natin regarding the welfare of our children. So one of the ways for us to avoid that is for us to get ourselves or be informed regarding what we need to do to protect our children.
Yes. Thank you, Doc Dex, Doc V. Oo nga, reiterate natin, no? 5 years old below, hindi pa kayang i-keep talaga na magsuot ng mask, di ba? So parang kung hindi naman talaga kailangan na ilabas sila babies, wag muna. Lalo na sa mga public places, di ba? Nandito pa rin po ang COVID, so kailangan pa rin po natin maging maingat. Kahit na nag-ease na yung restrictions at gustong-gusto na natin lumabas. So yun. Bianchi, Rain, may other questions ba kayo?
I have, Doc. Gusto ko balikan yung nasuggest si Doc Via kanina na we can also discuss. Kasi we discussed giving birth, yung postpartum, and then even motherhood, diba, caring for your child. For those who want to get pregnant, Doc V, ano po yung mga preparations and in terms of their health, not just physically pero mentally, ano po kailangan ihanda? Go ahead, Doc V.
Actually, that's important, no? Iulitin ko, tutulungan ko si Doc Dex sa campaign nila sa Popcom. No? It's important for us to really plan, no? How do we not only get pregnant, when to get pregnant, kailan ba tayo, ano yung mga techniques na gagamitin natin, tools na gagamitin natin, no? Because, no, planning can actually spell out a difference talaga sa welfare, not only of our mothers, but also our children, no? So, doon sa mga nagpaplano po na maging mommies or those who are desirous to be pregnant, it's important po for us to have our supplements, no? Yung recommended po ng ating mga OBGYN is to have folic acid even before we get pregnant. No? So, sa doon po sa mga mommies na gusto na pong magka-baby, usually po yung nire-recommended natin na 1 year before you plan to get pregnant, umiinom na po kayo ng folic acid. Kasi po, it helps prevent yung mga neural tube defects, no? Yung mga any congenital abnormalities po sa ating mga babies. No? Kasi we want to be able to protect our kid also. No? One of the things that we also have to do, no, is to be vaccinated sa mga routine na vaccines, no? Pneumonia, influenza as well, and make sure, no, na for our moms, no, is important yung Hep B, no? Doc Dex, especially since very common yung transmission na yun with the kids. No? And of course, yung mga vaccine, HPV vaccine also for our mommies, no? For our would-be mommies pala, no? For us to prevent yung mga HPV vaccine preventable diseases. And important pa rin, no? It always boils down to having good nutrition, no? That would include yung mga supplements for folic acid. Calcium as well is important, no? And it's important for us to have good rest, no? Physical activity kasi our sugar levels, no? Especially how our body processes carbohydrates, no? Would actually affect our children. You know, again, pinaulit-ulit natin ito, yung gestational diabetes, no? Does not only affect the mom but also the child, no? Ayaw natin na yung anak natin, no? Kakasilang pa lang natin sa kanila, may mga komplikasyon na kaagad, no? So it's important for us to take care of our health even before we plan to become mommies. No? So folic acid, make sure that we watch what we eat, especially carbohydrates, na especially yung mga sugars natin. No? And of course, you know, always practice self-care. No? Andyan po yung mga articles and videos ng hellodoctor.com.ph to help us. And of course, if you have any questions, no, kung may alinlangan po, especially yung mga mommies natin, nandyan po kami ni Doc Dex sa Alaga Health to help you with your health concerns. So abangan po yung mga programs namin for mommies darating po in the coming weeks. So stay tuned for that po.
Thank you, Doc. Thank you, Doc V. Justin, you have something to share about our promo?
Yes. So, sa lahat ng sumali sa ating World Immunization Week promos, yung ating baby vaccine scheduler and yung cervical cancer. So, extended po ang ating promo until tomorrow. So, kung hindi nyo pa po nasasagutan, nandito po sa ating comment section ang link ng 2 screeners para kayo ay magkaroon ng chance na manalo ng 500 pesos, 500 pesos GCash. Abonado.
Ako din gusto ko na rin sumali ng multiple entries, 500 pesos. Let's go.
Pero yun po, extended po ang promo until tomorrow para sa ating baby vaccine scheduler and cervical cancer. So sa mga new mommies dyan, pwede nyo pong gamitin ang aming baby vaccine scheduler para po maging on track kayo sa lahat ng vaccinations ng inyong baby. At also sa ating mga kababaihan, sa mga nanay, sa mga ate, tita, meron po tayong cervical cancer screener dito po sa hellodoctor.com.ph. So pwede po nyo pong gamitin yan para malaman nyo ang inyong risk pagdating sa cervical cancer. So gagamit lang po kayo, makakatulong na po sa inyo kasi makakapag-schedule na kayo ng vaccines, tapos malalaman nyo pa kung at risk kayo for cervical cancer, may chance pa kayo manalo ng 500 pesos GCash. 500 pesos. Yes. So,
Mag-aabono si Sir Justin pag
mag-aabono. Hindi nagbabasa.
Thank you so much, Justin.
Thank you
Just
so
like
much
that,
po. Yes.
1 hour na pala.
1 hour na pala. Oo,
wow.
Iba talaga ang ating kumusta doc sessions. Dami nating natututunan. Daming questions na nasasagot ng ating experts na si Doc Dex and Doc B. So, Bianchi, you have anything else to say?
Ang dami. As in, hitik na hitik ang ating episode as usual. I just want to ask our doctors to help us close the episode with a final question. So, Doc V, you can go first. If there's a lesson that you want our viewers na ma-take away after this episode, ano po yun? Ano yung mga reminders na gusto niyo po ipaalala sa kanila? So, Doc V and then Doc Dex.
Yeah. Alam na natin yung drill, no?
Yeah,
Huli palagi si Doc Dex.
Yes.
We're celebrating Mother's Day on Sunday, but one of the things I want to share, is we have to celebrate, or we should celebrate Mother's Day every day, no? Kasi wala naman tayo dito if hindi sa pag-aaruga, sa pagmamahal ng ating mga ina, no? And part of that is to ensure that our mothers are actually well taken care of, especially knowing their risks, knowing what are the things they're vulnerable of, no? And paano po natin mapapangalagaan ang kalusugan ng ating mga nanay, no? So this Mother's Day, we will take time to bond with our moms, no? To hug them, to tell them how much they mean to us, how much we love them as well, no? And let's take time to take extra care for our moms. Kasi yung moms po natin, wala po yung pahinga. Yung trabaho po nila, ever since they carried us until the day that that we part, hindi po natatapos yung trabaho nila as mom. Even nga beyond no? Even beyond the afterlife, no? So let's take time to celebrate our moms, not just on Sunday, but every day. Sa lahat po ng mommies, especially to my mommy, Lucille, to Dex's mom, Tita Marivic, and to all the moms who are out there, Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day po sa lahat ng moms, yung Miss Bianchi, Miss Rain, Miss Justin, and the mom of Miss Kai. Happy Mother's Day po. Happy Mother's Day sa lahat, and magkita-kita po tayo next week dito po sa Kumusta Doc with Hello Doctor and Alaga Health.
Thank you, Doc V. Go ahead, Doc Dex, to close our episode.
Okay, so this Mother's Day, I think one of the best things that we can have in our minds is that yung image kasi natin ng kalusugan, usually kapag iniisip natin siya, more often than not, we think of an image of a mom taking care of a kid. Because that was our very first experience on how it is to feel loved, how it is to be cared for, how it is to feel that warm hug when you're sad, to be fed when you're hungry, to feel at ease when there are things that shock you or make you feel scared. That is the value of care. That's the value ng pag-aaruga, ng pag-aalaga. At wala nang papantay siguro sa pag-aalaga ng isang ina. Kaya sa lahat po ng mga nanay na nanonood po ngayong tanghali, maraming salamat po sa inyong pagmamahal sa amin lahat. And advance Happy Mother's Day to all of you. Dahil pagdating po sa kalusugan, kayo po ang naging silbing inspirasyon at gabay naming lahat. At maraming salamat po sa pagpapakita kung paano tunay na magmahal, hindi lamang para sa ibang tao, kundi para sa aming mga sarili din. So this Mother's Day, alagaan po ang inyong kalusugan. Take care of your health so that you can learn more. You can always check out Hello Doctor And if you need help, you can just check out Alaga Health. Kita-kita po ulit tayo sa susunod na Kumusta Doc. And again, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, soon to be mothers, want to be mothers, and mothers from another mothers. Any form of mother, you are a wonderful person and we wish you the very best. Magkita-kita po ulit tayo dito lamang sa Hello Doctor. See you!
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you po. Bye-bye.
Stay well.